Happy Memorial Day. This is the Kaizen Market Update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Happy Memorial Day for Americans. All gave some gave all. Today, we remember the guys who served. Today, I'm serving you. Crypto, the classic holiday rally. This time, they got it going before the Americans went to their barbecue and relaxed. I'm sure nobody will mind given the price action. Naturally, memes catching the hedge funds off guard. Classic that they absolutely, the high beta plays, as they call it, moon, while Wall Street is, frankly, asleep. So that was the twist. They mooned the big meme coins. We'll take a look at them. Some are toppy, some are not. The executive summary kind of would be a good idea to move to ETH, because what happens if ETH starts moving like the meme coins? Something to consider. 4,400 possible. Let's welcome who's here. Keita Sira, Peter, had a good weekend. I'm back. Horace, Lisa V, good morning. Chris, Brandon, what's going on? Right? No, man, this crypto's moving. We're here. Sean Marie, Corey, Lucas, Bala, Leo, Riyadh, Marvin's journey through crypto. Marvin, we're here with you. Chad, Quantum, Miguel, VA Buds, and OG. Jelster, Party Outfit. Yeah, man, for the last 3 days of this month, this is the consensus rally. 2022, it was the consensus drop. This is the consensus rally. Gray, SG, Flo, Stefan, Shadow, F. Morales, Katia, Carmenko, VA Buds, Secret Society. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Okay, news. Well, I think we can start with the best thing I ever did. I had a report in my store about the political meme coins. And even though, other meme coins did do well, this may not be over. Okay. So like it, don't like these people. The Orange Man meme coins, this one was up 40% yesterday. Kind of, it's ironically, the funny one about the controversial guy is up 20% today and may make new highs. One of the tokens I like, I'm glad I didn't talk about it because they're doing a token restructuring suddenly out of nowhere. And the one that makes fun of the current administration not trading well. Okay, that's not a surprise because it looks like it boils down to the serious and the funny about whoever the primary candidates are. And man, with the way this is moving on, these are catalysts in May. You imagine the way these things are going to be moving on catalysts later on? I mean, again, I know dogs and cats, man, they're running. But later on, when the catalysts are abound, okay, just as a reminder, institutional FOMO about ETFs. This is a sort of a refresher headline about ETPs, right? Those are like ETF or exchange traded funds, if you will, of a different sort. Look, the FOMO into ETH, the FOMO into the Bitcoin ETF. A professor in Wisconsin wrote a report, very interesting, after the state of Wisconsin's pension fund or related entity bought a ton of the Bitcoin ETF. The professor from Wisconsin wrote that they didn't buy enough. Now, if the Wisconsin State Fund didn't buy enough, this creates a huge list of people. Not to mention the fact I'm not really sure the Bitcoin ETF itself, these ETF companies have bought all the Bitcoin that they're going to need to handle the inflows. So the more inflows they buy, it's almost like they got to buy 1.5 times the Bitcoin of whatever flows in, which probably means a new high for Bitcoin like the next 3 days. And then after that, I think Bitcoin goes dormant for all of June. And then ETH and Solana and altcoins can just take off barring some sort of geopolitical or inflation disaster. I'm staying with altcoins until proven wrong. Bitcoin, today's your last, I don't know, you're going to have like 1 or 2 more days, and then, you rotate out. And I think the faster you rotate to ETH, the better. Like I went from ETH to Solana, caught a little bit of an up move, and now I'm back in ETH, right? Just waiting, right? Because, if I wind up with meme coin purchasing power, particularly on these political coins, if I wind up with ETH at 44 or 4,700, that's a jackpot for the political meme coins. This is just me going into conventions and debates. But, ETH is where it's at. Institutional FOMO is coming. Okay, so, one guy vows they're racing each other. So first it's you can have an ETF, then you can have self-custody. Now they're saying they're gonna let the guy out of jail from the Silk Road. I actually met this guy's mom at the first conference I ever went to, the Texas Bitcoin Conference. I remember Ross's mom handing me a flyer that was like free Ross. I didn't know who Ross was at the time. I think I signed their petition, right? But, this guy did something wrong and he's paid the price. Now let him go, right? Let him go. Same thing with Snowden and Julian Assange, right? That's what Kennedy said, right? And then Trump one-upped him by coming out and talking about crypto. Okay, now Robert F. Kennedy is talking about crypto. If anybody's going to challenge Trump, it's him. I don't think it's the current president. That's just me. So the Libertarian Party in the United States had their chance to nominate Robert Kennedy. And here's what they went with. They went with a guy that was against closing the border. The best way to export liberty is with an open border. Border control doesn't work. That's who they nominated instead of RFK Jr. Wow. Okay. So there may be an opportunity in his coins. Again, it's too low cap to talk about. One of the projects did something silly. Point is, crypto's a huge political issue. In a tight race, they have to get your vote. And you know what? Everybody is talking about regulatory clarity. Guess what? You just got regulatory clarity. And you want to know the definition of regulatory clarity? The government getting out of the way. Everyone's like, oh, we need it. This is like 2 years ago with consensus. And even last year, like, oh, they're going to regulate us out of business. Then we can't do business in crypto. We can't have ETFs. We can't have adoption unless we have regulatory clarity. Hey, people, regulatory clarity is regulators just let the market handle it. Okay? People are either going to make or lose a lot of money in pump.fun, right? People make and lose a lot of money and mostly lose a lot of money in Vegas. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Yeah, I mean, there are scams, and yeah, some of that may have to be regulated, but, we need Gensler to tell us what to do. It's over for this guy. Done. Right? And that's not fully priced in, by the way. Right? The vanquishment of Gensler is not priced in at all. At all. Okay. So, again, Ron Paul, right, who is kind of a guy who predicted a lot of stuff that's happening now, said that America changed in 1963 and never looked back, and the change was for the worst. RFK wants to reverse that. And I can tell you right now, again, this goes back to the Trump meme coins. If Trump adopts a lot of RFK talking points, in my report that very few people looked at, I had an upside target in the Trump coin of 16. And the Trump coin may go even higher. So I continue to believe that there are catalysts here. Ron Paul also saying that the dollar as the world's reserve currency is done. And the next economic crisis could be as early as June, because the Fed has left interest rates way too high for way too long. Again, if you're new to the show, I have been absolutely pounding the table. First, I was pounding the table on ETH, fortunately for me, before the ETF thing came out. And the reason they want the ETF is because statistically, I did a study with a Wall Street economist a couple years ago. ETH does great when the dollar falls, gold and silver go up. That is nirvana on the macro level for ETH. You look at this headline, you look at this picture, you look at what they're saying about the government debt, spending, $1 trillion every 100 days. it's just incredible. Now, on the geopolitical front, again, not really sure how seriously to take this, but the Chinese are posturing up big on an invasion of Taiwan. That would be a pretty bold move ahead of U.S. political conventions. But again, if they perceive a weakened or kind of lame duck U.S. president early, they could make their move. That has black swan potential. I'm not going to take that seriously unless it happens. You got to have stop losses in place on big coins. Argentina meets with El Salvador about the adoption of Bitcoin. Again, this Bitcoin ETF, they can't get enough. They can't get enough. Following cycles, this bull run should last another 1.5 years, according to this guy who does this big TA thread about all these different indicators. Folks, the cycle could last more than 1 year. The crypto cycle could last more than 1.5 years. Now, traditional crypto cycle analysis says you got another 1.5 years, okay? Maybe for highly speculative altcoins, okay. But it is possible that this thing could be higher for longer. In other words, unless Ethereum's going to go straight to 10,000, and I don't know if that's possible until the Fed really starts to have to cut rates. Really has to start cutting rates. Remember, in 2021, the market went up because the Fed was printing, rates were at zero, and the federal government was handing out money on the fiscal side. So the trend could last longer than a year. It could be a little bit more orderly of an ascent, unless Pepe and Bonk lead. The Pepe and, the meme coin or the speculative trend may last 1.5 years, but this could become like stocks, particularly at the big coin level. Solana's a phone company. I can't wait to get my hands on that phone. I got to get my hands on that phone before Solana mania kicks in again. Solana XRP could be candidates for ETFs. So naturally, this talk is going to start after the Ethereum ETF and the suddenness of the Ethereum ETF. I don't know if it makes sense, but if the current administration has to do everything they can, it's funny. You could have 5 years of crypto development in 5 months because they got to try to get that crypto vote back. Again, most crypto people, it's between the ages of 32 and 52 with income in the 6-figure zone. So if you have single issue voters on crypto and TikTok, whoever gets that vote wins. So it's almost like we're going to go into an era of what I am now calling reverse Gensler. So we're going to reverse everything that he's done, let his court cases die in court, and then expedite ETFs of all kinds, right? Because if ETH goes to 4,700 or 5,000, they're going to do like they did with Bitcoin. They're going to go, okay, I missed it. What's next? It could be Solana. It could be Litecoin. Like I would think it would be Litecoin, XRP, and maybe Chainlink together. And then Solana would be separate. But we'll see. We'll see. All I know is they're going to need reverse Gensler. Now, prediction, Bitcoin will reach $1 million because of this little known phenomenon. Okay, folks, well, if Bitcoin gets to $1 million, remember, we're going to have universal basic income. That means AI will put people out of work, and you'll have 1 or 2 sats in your wallet that either somebody gives you in the private sector or you manage to keep yourself. And those sats, as they rise in value, will help sustain you throughout inflation or job displacement with artificial intelligence. In other words, Bitcoin at $1 million sounds good. I think the world is a little bit of a better place with Bitcoin at, say, 150. But that's just me. Bitcoin at $1 million, yeah, you've got some macro issues that you're going to deal with. So JP Morgan, which I think they were calling the Ethereum ETF, and they're actually calling for much higher prices. So these guys got this Ethereum thing right because they were saying Ethereum is going to be the big thing. So now, again, they're going out of consensus, right? Like, first, this is how investment banking research works. First, they go out of consensus. When Bitcoin was rising, they wrote Ethereum's really going to be the thing, and they could be right. because the catch-up rally in Ethereum could be breathtaking. We'll go over the charts in the PowerPoint. Now they're going out of consensus saying it might not be Solana. Okay, well, I'm okay with that because Solana's going to 400 with or without the ETF. It's just a question of time, right? I don't know if June is going to be a down month for Bitcoin and an up month for everything else, but we know it's coming. We just lived through a mega crash, and unless they're going to have a black swan event in June, which at this point we would all look at as a buying opportunity. You know, they fooled us once. They're not fooling us again unless it's literally World War III. Ethereum outperforms 3,900. We're going to go over what kind of level 3,900 in ETH. 3,900 in ETH is a monster level. A monster level, right? When Bitcoin took out its equivalent level to 3,900, you know, it was off to the races, new all-time high. My argument is Ethereum, where it is right now, has done nothing. It's back where it was in 2022. Nothing has happened in Ethereum. No markup has occurred. All we've done is unwound the bear market. And that's true still at 3,900. I mean, once you get above 4,000, okay. Then, you know, each trying to stretch into a bull market. But I don't understand why anybody would be afraid, you know, not investment advice, to pay 3,900 for ETH. I just moved Solana into ETH at these prices. I'm like, oh, I'm fine with that. And then I wind up with purchasing power for whatever coin I want to get into after that. Okay, ETH ETF sees billions pouring into restaking protocol ETH.5. Okay, so Solana staking, right? Solana DeFi is coming. ETH DeFi is coming, like just so huge. Real world assets. I mean, I've been talking about this and I keep talking about this. This whole idea of staking, DeFi, I mean, I just think, I think it's going to be as big or bigger than 2020. I mean, that was the hot new game in town. It's kind of the only game in town. But like, once the institutions start getting into ETFs, they're going into the ecosystem. Or the hedge funds are going into the ecosystem, right? The hedge funds are ahead of the game in the Bitcoin ETF. They're probably going to sell the Bitcoin ETF to hedge funds, mutual funds, and retail as Bitcoin approaches 100. Then what the institutions, the hedge funds will do is they'll dive into DeFi and they'll dive into real world assets. Real world asset coins are not going down. They're not. Even if there is a problem in June, they're not going down. Okay. They can dip, maybe, but BlackRock is in, and this is not going to stop. Yeah, I mean, you could have Ondo as like a top 5 coin, just like Chainlink was a top 5 coin back in 2020. You know, that happened early in the cycle. Ondo may happen late in the cycle. Period. Okay. All right. So again, this comes from Grok. This was like for my live stream later. Okay. Ride the crypto wave. Ethereum and meme coins surge this holiday weekend. Okay. Arrow. Wow. Isn't this funny? Squiggle TA worked. Holy cow. I drew this. For anybody who hasn't watched the show, I kind of drew this as out of a roadmap off the cuff, and it's working, right? And honestly, when it comes to Arrow, if you've been holding it, you're good. Leave it. Because if you have Bitcoin down or stunted in June and an alt season, oh my God, this stuff's going to just rip. From a risk-reward basis, leave it. You want to add? Add. Where is Arrow? It's where it was kind of on the high uptick before the final give-up trade. It hasn't gone anywhere. So if you want to give Arrow a chance through consensus, you know, not investment advice, do it. Move the stop up. You know, we'll look at DGen in the PowerPoint. But again, you know, I might as well do True while I'm here because I know people are going to ask. Right? I mean, this is up 10% today. Nothing's going to stop this DeFi stuff. Nothing. Right? You had 4 give-up trades in True Finance. And now this is going to make a new high. Right? Because it went back above the 38% retracement of the rally. And then as soon as that happened, it was off to the races. Done. So this is some kind of giant washout. A rare instance where a triangle worked. or a triangle was created. This will tell you how powerful this rally could be. I mean, Bryant's going to be right about all this stuff because a lot of this stuff they couldn't kill on the way down. This thing, Trueflation, is at 58 cents. I mean, really, what has happened here? Nothing. This thing is in the middle of a range that we've had for a long time. They busted out of the top. They came back down here. They based. Okay, yeah, this has a big market cap, 580 million. Who cares? I mean, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but there is so much room in the altcoin space for like much higher prices. And we'll go over DGen in a minute. Let's see who else is here. Okay. Oh, Rari. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if I keep Rari on this playlist or not. I know I have Seam. I mean, I remember when he first came out with this, I mean, this thing screamed higher and then came off because of the stupid crash. Okay, so if you go to a daily chart of this, right? So this unwound the whole Kaizen pump, pretty much, most of it. And then, you know, I see this all the time and I can tell this is what's going to happen. So first you draw the retracement, right? And the 62% retracement of the whole move is right here at 309. But you notice how it's consolidating just below that. So as soon as it comes back above that, it's going to explode. And I see this a lot in prior bull markets where you get these consolidations below the big lines. And then as soon as it takes out the line, it just, you don't have trade location. It just goes up 20%, which again, here is totally possible because one of the things that they can do is just catch people totally off guard here. Everyone's like, yeah, it's up 5%. Okay, I'll buy it after the barbecue. And then by the time they come back after the barbecue, this whole thing is just materially higher, like materially higher. So, I mean, this can go up for days, right? Everyone's at a barbecue and then everybody's traveling to consensus and you just wake up one day, you just, you know, everyone lands, looks at their phone and they're like, oh, gee, the bus left without me. Okay, Riyadh, Ondo, Pepe. Okay, TA, please. Okay, so I can do Ondo here. I have some Pepe, TA. You know, Pepe may take a break, but I don't know what stops Pepe at this point. At least not on a weekly basis. On a tactical basis, maybe it takes a break and then ETH takes off. Okay, sharing screen. Okay, hopefully I was sharing Ferrari. Okay, so in Ondo, I'm starting to think that, you know, this is some kind of diamond. This is a diamond. This is a monster breakout. It has not gotten to the target yet. And I'm beginning to believe that it's going to do this, right? So, you know, you had this kind of monster move up in the beginning, and I'm thinking this is a $2 coin. Like the market cap expansion on this can just be epic. And you may wind up looking back at this after it 10Xs or 20Xs going, wow, I wish I bought it after the crash. Because like, you know, whatever this is like nothing. Nothing. It's just, yeah, it's just going to go. Right. Say Pepe. Okay, so this is like hidden pivot analysis. All right, so Pepe has gone beyond what you would draw for hidden pivot analysis, which means it's going to be very hard to stop the trend. Again, at a tactical level, this is going to stop, but I have a weekly chart that says it won't. It just won't, right? You can start drawing like Fibonacci extension analysis on this. Change the parameters up. I mean, no reason to believe it couldn't get totally wild in Pepe, but 1697 is going to be resistance. Okay. At this point, I kind of prefer ETH, but you can't underestimate the ability to get wild. Like, I don't mind switching from Pepe over to ETH and then back to Pepe. That's how I would do that. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. Okay, this is your market update. Okay, Pepe on a weekly basis. If you look at Pepe on a weekly basis, you could have 4 more up weeks, actually 5. So 5, that's the DeMarc number there, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, Pepe may not stop. Altcoins may not stop. Bitcoin might. I can actually see a scenario where Bitcoin goes down in June and alts just go. Like, people dump Bitcoin to get into alts. Crazy, I know, but bonk, this is a daily chart. So the dip to buy on this 4 signal was yesterday. And now bonk looks like it wants to just go and go and go. So it looks like you take profit in the ETH meme coins, move to ETH. Looks like in the Solana meme coins, you take profits in Solana and move into the Solana memes next. Okay, so this is Bitcoin. This signal, this is a Elliott wave signal. So that's the 4th of 5 waves. And this looks like a new high in Bitcoin. I wouldn't be shocked if it was today. Just make the new high, get euphoric, and then ETH goes next. Or the ETH rally is so powerful, it just kind of pulls up Bitcoin for the first part of it. So here's ETH monthly. So this is a rare case where Ethereum on a monthly basis has a level that people may use as a tactical day-to-day level, right? So the monthly level is so big, if you take it out on a daily chart, ETH can continue to just move, right? The level is 39.35. So you can see that, Ethereum battled 39.35. It came up short 1 month. It went through it the next month, was where I thought it was going. Then you had this, I don't know, frankly, I'm calling it the idiotic crash. You can have crashes. I missed it, but thank God I didn't get bearish, because now I'm not missing the up move. This month, right, they're going to take it out. They're going to take out 39.35. And when people realize this 13 top right here, ETH is going to take out the top of FTX, or the top of pre-FTX. And when ETH takes out the start of the bear market, the bull market can then start. That's right, I just said that. The ETH bull market is just starting. We're going from bear to bull in ETH, in my opinion. So here's Ethereum on a weekly chart. So you did have these topping signals over here. ETH slumped from 3750 to 3000. They left it down here for, I don't know, they left ETH at 3,000 for 6 weeks. And as far as I'm concerned, that was the equivalent of leaving Bitcoin below 20K at the start of the first part of the cycle. They left Bitcoin below 20K for 6 months. And they did the same thing to ETH at 3,000 for 6 weeks. They just left it there. Frankly, looking at this, I mean, it was sideways, but they left it at 2,500 for 2 months. Just sat there. So, I mean, they're doing it again, and everyone's like, oh, gee, I missed it. When's the dip? Yeah, at 4,700. That's when the dip is. Okay, ETH on the daily chart. So ETH, these dotted lines are drawn automatically. 3,700 was a big level in ETH that it's now past. It's past it. So, yeah, ETH went up. It went down during the day on Memorial Day. People go to the barbecue. People go to the beach. People go to the pool. They could come back. This stuff could be up 15%. I've seen this on holidays. I just haven't seen the move start this early. So ETH on a 4-hour chart, there are topping signals here. ETH doesn't care. ETH's not moving, right? And you can see that when you have these topping signals, this quantitative system will give you a level where you could have a blow off top. So in English, ETH could go to 4150 just at a tactical level. Just that's where, they could, I call it the barbecue level for Memorial Day. Right? Everyone gets done with their barbecue, looks at their phone and goes, oh, wow, ETH's at 4150. Now what do I do? Right? And then ETH sits there and then it goes again during consensus. Because remember, Kathy Wood, Novogratz, everybody's now got to say something good about both Bitcoin and Ethereum, particularly after Michael Saylor kind of embarrassed himself and said, Ethereum is not going to be a security. Ethereum is not going to be anything because Ethereum is a security. And they passed the ETH ETF, 10 days later. So, the guy's he's Bitcoin Max. He's entitled to his view. But that's the first time I've seen him be really wrong, really wrong. I know he bought Bitcoin too high in 2021, but the guy's on an epic hot streak. So everybody's going to have to go to consensus and say something nice about Ethereum. That includes RFK Jr., who's, as this team executes, they're launching a second version of his highly speculative coin. These guys are racing each other to say something positive about crypto, and Ethereum is going to think they need to say something positive about DGen. Okay, so this is difficult, right? So somehow, some way, DGen has managed to mark topping signals on the way up after a down move. Weird. This does not occur often. My guess on DGen is that there's one more big upthrust, a pause, and then if these negative signals don't have an impact, remember how I always say, if something is bearish and it's not, it's uber bullish. So if you have topping signals in DGen that don't work, you might have one more up day, one more pause, and if DGen doesn't go down, then DGen can keep going. Because DGen was a freight train on the downside, it could be a freight train on the upside. And again, if this is connected to a version of social media, which I still have to get on, we're going to need free social media, because the next issue, after they get done pounding the table, first it was crypto, then it was Edward Snowden, then it was Julian Assange, then it was Ross, TikTok's next. And all forms of social media. Okay, Solana. So Solana versus ETH, is that support? So if you're holding Solana, I went from Solana to ETH for tactical reasons, but this chart actually shows that Solana could catch up to ETH. And who's going to complain about that? Nobody. Especially since stuff like Bonk and the Solana memes look like they could go. Now, if that chart breaks support, okay, then Solana is going to continue to underperform. I don't have a problem with Solana is the bottom line. If Solana takes out 172 at a tactical level, it can go to 184. If it takes out this high, we know where it goes, 240, 250. ETH's not going to go up in a vacuum, right? It's going to pull everything else with it. It could pull Solana. Now, on the subject of stuff that's toppy, okay, Pepe blew through everything, all the resistance. MOG went straight up and is at resistance right now. So when it comes to the ETH memes, unless I'm about to look like an idiot, I think, taking some profits in ETH memes and you either move it into Pepe or ETH or the Solana memes. I don't think every ETH meme is going to continue to move the way it has been moving, because some of this stuff's just a little bit too vertical. And you got to, again, ask yourself, if this is the way dogs and cats are moving, what is going to happen if these political coins get listed on centralized exchanges? Oh my God. Right. Particularly with all these catalysts. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but some of these things were up 30, 40% over the weekend on catalysts that appeared minor. I mean, they were dramatic for the coins, but there's a lot coming. So dogs and cats, they're kind of telling you what can come next. And it could be an absolute mania. Okay. Let's see. All right. So Shane sometimes misses the stream, but catches up. I appreciate that. Okay. So somebody's reminding me that the market cap for the coins in circulation for True F, right, is sub 100 million. I get it. There's room for all of that stuff now. Happy Memorial Day to VA Buds. All right, let's just get the bottom line. ETH, and then more ETH. Solana to follow. Solana memes, because again, all a Solana meme is it's like 4x levered Solana. So the memes may go before Solana goes. You have to hold on to the possibility that you could have an alt season in June. I don't want to get too stupid. You're definitely going to have an alt season, not investment advice, during consensus. So, 4 to 5 days is an eternity in crypto. Like today's Monday, consensus doesn't end until Saturday. So, I mean, look out. Everyone's like, well, yeah, I'll buy the dip. Okay, well, you may not get one. The dip was in April, and then it was DCA in May. And then in June, it's buy CPI. Let them rough it up or do whatever they're going to do. I can't control what the Chinese do in Taiwan. The bottom line is the turn in crypto is at hand. Regulatory clarity is government getting out of the way. Kennedy speaks at consensus. And you know what? Whether anyone likes him or not, Trump is adopting his talking points. So if everything Kennedy says winds up coming out of Trump's mouth and Trump is the king, that is extremely pro-crypto, right? Whether you believe he's going to keep those promises or not, doesn't matter. What you need for markets is news flow, right? First, it was like Gensler, negative news flow. This could be crypto, or whatever politicians. Can you imagine if RFK gets brought in as Trump's VP somehow? Can you imagine? You imagine, what that would do to the crypto markets? You'd have crypto across the board up 40%, and that's Bitcoin, Ethereum that day. And then if the race winds up being Kennedy-Trump, because, the left can't really mount a candidate or a campaign, they're going to be racing each other to see who can positive things about TikTok, crypto, and whatever. Yeah, they got their political issues, but that's not what we care about. We care about politicians saying something about crypto, institutions FOMOing into ETFs because they obviously missed the dip. They missed it. Hedge funds bought all the Bitcoin ETFs, which means plain vanilla buyers have to buy. And they may get lucky. They may get lucky and get a dip in June, but you can be sure that they're going to be down there, even if it's a black swan. All right, so that's it for today. I will see you next week. But this is next week. We'll see you tomorrow.